Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, Dustin Fox, Jason Lloyd, Tyvis Powell, plus, ba-da-da-da-da, you're loving him, Mikey McNuggets. And so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show starts now. Booyah!
Hey, here we go.
Look at that.
I'm off the pup.
The man with the hip is back.
I'm
He's
off
got
the
a new
pup.
hip.
He is back.
Yeah, new hip and all, man. It was funny when I sat in this chair Friday before last. Friday before last. I remember thinking, well, this is the last time this hip will be in this chair. And now I have metal parts in there.
Yeah, you are going to still play baseball, right?
I am.
Somebody said you were. I don't remember who it was. Maybe it was Dustin. Was like,
I said
was
it was
it
done.
you?
I said it's a
Somebody
wrap.
said Jay's going to stop playing baseball. I said, are you out of your mind?
Yeah.
I mean, how are you going to run?
Bull knows me better than anyone.
Yeah, I
Bo
said.
Jackson couldn't run.
I said Jay will be 85 on a walker.
Bo Jackson.
Jay will be 85 using a walker to get out to the mound and still pitching.
Yeah, if there's anything at all I can do to play baseball, I will. I got to tell you, quick side note, because I know we got to jump into this. I knew I was in good hands earlier this week. I had the surgery Wednesday, so 9 days ago. I started my rehab, home rehab, Monday. Doorbell rings, guy comes in. His name is Corey, great guy. We're bonding, we're vibing. He goes, man, it just hit me who you are. Now, this is the first time I've ever been recognized as the following.
Right.
You're McNuggets' friend. I said, dude, good friend.
That's
he plays
crazy.
ball with, I think, on your Thursday league, right?
Yeah, he's
the team that won the championship.
City League champion. Shout
Great
out to Corey,
guy.
the Boomers.
Love this guy.
Awesome dude. Yeah, really, really, really
And
good dude.
he's doing wonders for me. He says,
That's
no
awesome.
doubt, I'll be playing baseball with absolutely no hiccups in my
great.
game in the spring. So I'm
great.
glad for that.
McNuggets
Corey,
is
thank
officially
you.
bigger than Jay now.
That's crazy.
I know. I'm now officially McNuggets' friend.
Yeah, that's it.
That has
New
to go
moniker.
on when you have retired and you have your plaque of like all the accomplishments you've had. It's
Yeah.
a storied television career.
Friend of McNuggets.
Friend of McNuggets.
But I'll tell you,
on the
like
pantheon.
I couldn't have been more pleased to say, yeah, he's my good buddy.
Does that mean Jay's nickname should be like Big Mac or
Mac Daddy.
Filet of fish? I don't know.
That's
No,
wild word.
but he's a great guy.
Yeah, really good dude.
Boy, he loves Mike. I mean, and he should.
Who doesn't love Mike?
That's what Corey and I were having that conversation. I said, I got to tell you something, man. This dude came from Texas, didn't know squat about the area. He has immersed himself not just in the sports community, but in the community. And he's beloved. Like, I don't know anybody that says anything negative about Mikey McNuggets. Because there's
unbelievable.
nothing negative to say.
Stick around. We'll change that. We'll fix
We
that.
can change it.
We'll
Maybe
get you,
some of his sports takes.
we'll get you good and hated here. Stick
Yeah,
around a few
eventually
years.
people will become angry. You'll say something that'll piss people off, you know.
It happens on a day-to-day basis.
By the way, quick shout out to the woman who made a crazy U-turn cutting me off today. Hope you get arrested. You're probably not watching. But
That's the first ever arrested shout out.
Dang, bro.
Yeah.
damn, she was out of control.
Shout out to all the people, man. Listen, a lot of people reached out, man. I've been going for like it's 4 days or whatever, but shout out to everybody.
Oh, you've been gone?
Yeah, man. I had
Did you get a hip?
No hips, no surgeries. I had a few deaths in the family.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
So, you know what I'm saying?
Sorry about that.
I lost both of my aunts within a 24-hour period.
Were they sisters?
No,
Or
it was
not?
on one of my mom's dad, one of my
Oh,
mom.
my goodness. Well, I'm sorry about
yeah,
your loss,
so,
brother.
but everybody been great. People reached out. For everybody that reached out, I appreciate you. Even some, people, players in Cleveland reached out. They got games and stuff. They, you just don't know. Shout out to them for people that did reach out because they had to do that. You know what I'm saying?
I'm sorry, I didn't reach out. I didn't know about it.
No, it was.
Or I would have reached out. I feel bad.
I was off the grid for a little bit. It happened. It happened literally right before I went on the show Monday.
We're thinking of you, brother.
So I appreciate everybody out there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Family.
So all good, but it's time to get back to work and talk a little sports, man.
Yes, it is. A lot of sports.
Yeah.
Let's dive right in, guys. We got a busy show. We're going to start with the report from Jeremy Fowler after a quick word from the Home Builders Association. Give big this year at the Home for the Holidays raffle. You have a chance to win a beautiful new custom home or a cash prize this holiday season. And Help make wishes come true for Make-A-Wish kids with critical illnesses. Raffle proceeds benefit Make-A-Wish OKI, which has granted over 22,000 wishes to children facing critical illnesses across Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana since 1983. This year's house is a custom-built ranch by Petros Homes and has 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, and a 3-car garage. Also includes some amazing features like a great room with vaulted ceilings, an unbelievable kitchen, and a mudroom with open lockers, and a unique pet shower station. One lucky winner will be announced on December 24th, so get your $100 ticket now. Just visit ahomefortheholidays.org to buy your tickets. That's ahomefortheholidays.org, just like you see on your screen. Terms and conditions apply. All right, guys, Jeremy Fowler put out a report yesterday that caught a lot of people's attention, not just by what he said, but by the timing of the situation. This is what Jeremy Fowler said in regards to the future of one Kevin Stefanski. And I quote, Kevin Stefanski's future comes up often in my conversations with people in the league due to the Browns' 6-23 record the past 2 seasons. Another reason his name comes up, several executives and coaches I've spoken to believe he'd be a prime candidate for a head coaching job elsewhere should Cleveland move on after the season. Quote, he's a good coach, experienced 2-time coach of the year. Cleveland's a hard place to win, an AFC executive said. He might need a fresh start elsewhere. Fowler continued, this year's candidate pool is considered weaker than in previous years, which benefits a coach with Stefanski's credentials. If let go, Stefanski would have the option to pursue a head coaching job right after or take a year off like Mike Vrabel did after leaving Tennessee. That typically depends on what might be open a year from now, the viability of the candidate, and whether the coach is simply burned out and needs a year, but the 2 jobs currently open could use a mix of offensive acumen and experience, a mold that Stefanski fits. What do you guys think about the report in general, but more specifically, the timing of this coming out now as opposed to earlier or later in the season?
I mean, the timing makes sense. The Browns have been one of the worst teams in football the last 2 years.
And we're getting towards the end of the season when the coaching cycle starts.
Right. When you coach one of the worst teams in football in consecutive years, you usually get fired. Mm-hmm. To me, the report's irrelevant. You know, if I were the Steelers, I don't know that I'd fire Mike Tomlin, but I would talk to Mike Tomlin about, like, I wouldn't want to fire him. You know, I'd find a way to make it a mutual decision. And Mike Tomlin's a way better coach, obviously, than Kevin Stefanski. But the point is, like, I think Mike Tomlin, to me, assuming they don't make the playoffs and they don't make a playoff run, I think it's time for a fresh start. Like, the Steelers need a new voice. Mike Tomlin's been there a long time. Andy Reid was in Philadelphia. Probably, didn't necessarily need to be fired. He's gone to Kansas City. It's worked out well for both sides. Yeah. Mike Tomlin would have a job way before Kevin Stefanski would have a job. Yeah. So I think it's irrelevant whether other people would want him or not. Jason's said the same thing that Jeremy Fowler said for 2 years. So it's not.
Yeah, but now it's a topic because Jeremy Fowler said it.
By the way,
I knew there'd be outrage for Jason.
Let me finish. I was about to give you credit and say, so who cares that Jeremy Fowler said it? It's not breaking news because Jason's been saying it.
Take it all back now.
I don't necessarily believe it, but
I think the
whatever.
difference is, I don't know. I didn't read the piece. I apologize for that. I don't know. Did Jeremy? He never would. He wouldn't name executives.
No.
I think when you've said this in the past, Jay, and correct me if I'm wrong because I'm just going off memory here. You've said it kind of like it's just a known fact that if he gets let go, someone's going to pick him up. I don't know that you ever framed it as, look, I have conversations with execs around the league. This guy will get hired, and that's what Jeremy's doing.
It's both.
Okay. I apologize.
The only time where I really have access to a lot of people across the league is at the owners' meetings, the combine, stuff like that.
Yeah, sure.
And so you just, the owners' meetings particularly, you just have a lot of casual conversations with a lot of different people.
Sure. And
you get a pulse for what people think about different organizations, not necessarily just Cleveland, just in general. You have a lot of conversations. So, this isn't a surprise to me. I tend to agree, like, that can't really cloud the Browns' thinking one way or the other, though. And
right, it's irrelevant.
Yeah, but I do find it amusing. Like, that was going to be my opening line. It's like, guys, I've been saying this for a year.
I mean, you should be ripping Mike.
And
should be a hate
but,
to Mike.
But it's just funny to me because, like, it's a talking point all over Cleveland, and there's like this huge conspiracy theory of, well, why are they releasing this now? Well, guys, like, sometimes we go down way too many rabbit holes that you don't need to pursue. This is actually self-explanatory. He wrote a piece that also included what the league felt about Shedeur. So as someone who has written pieces like that before, it's really not any more complicated than Jeremy was checking around on Shedeur. What do you think of Shedeur? And while you're having those conversations, inevitably, the coach is going to come up in a situation like this.
A lot of crossover there.
It's really not any more complicated than that. It's not a setup of some sort of conspiracy of trying to set Kevin up for a second. It's none of that. It's a reporter talking to people across the league saying, what do you think about this quarterback that's gotten all this attention? How do you think he's played? What else is going on? Hey, what do you think about the job Kevin's done? That's it.
Yeah.
It's really not any...
Bull talks about this all the time. We live in the age of conspiracy theories.
God.
And it really is mind-numbing.
terrible.
Everything is a conspiracy.
And everything is. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter what it is. There's always two sides of it. It doesn't matter. As long as there is a forum for everybody with an opinion to share said opinion, there is going to be counter sides, and there's going to be all kinds of discussions of conspiracy theories. I agree with both you guys.
Yeah.
The timing of this is obvious. We're nearing the end of a football season.
He's won 6 games in 2 years.
Right? Like, this is what happens when you get... And by the way, they're having these conversations in Pittsburgh about Mike Tomlin and in various places across the NFL.
Yeah.
Cincinnati.
On average, I think it's anywhere from 6 to 8 coaches lose their job
That's right.
the first week of January. And that's just... It's always going to be that way. And if you're making a list of coaches whose seat is hot and Stefanski isn't on it, you need a new list.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's common sense. Yes, his seat is very warm. We're going to talk about something later in the show that I actually, or it might be it's in the Channel 3 show. A little plug down to watch us at 12:30 on Channel 3. We're going to talk a little bit about, does this draft class give Kevin and Andrew a little grace into coming back for 26? And I think that's a legitimate question. But in terms of, is this a conspiracy theory? The timing is weird. No, it's not. It's the end of the coaching. It's the end of the season. Coaches are always talked about as being replaced. Do I agree with Jeremy Fowler? 100%. Just like I've said with Jason all along. Yes, there is a job for this man in the NFL. Now, you mentioned Andy Reid. Was a guy who just needed a change of venue. Tomlin might be there too. So the voice gets old.
Yeah, but those guys had tremendous success.
That's a different thought.
I'm getting there.
Right.
I'm getting there. So Andy Reid needed a new place to do it. He went. He's won multiple Super Bowls. The same thing can be said for Tony Dungy. Tony Dungy did not win a Super Bowl in Tampa. I was there during the transition. His voice had just grown stale. They needed a rah-rah guy. They brought in Gruden. The next year they won the Super Bowl. And what happens? Tony Dungy finally knocks the Super Bowl off his to-do list in Indianapolis a few years later with Peyton Manning. I'm not suggesting that Kevin's going to go on to another team and win a Super Bowl. Somewhere in there, in the NFL landscape, and it might be a gap year. It might be a year where he does media. I hope not. He doesn't say much. Let me just tell all my friends in the media that now. But could he do something in the media? Sure. Could he do what other coaches have recently done? We saw Mike Vrabel do it. Just kind of take a in-residence year, where he shows up in Kansas City and works under Andy Reid for a year and then takes a job. And that way, it's a window, it's a snapshot of what's available. What might be available this year might not be a great situation. If you sit out, do a gap year, and study under somebody and come back, then perhaps the snapshot of jobs that are available in the next cycle are more appealing and he jumps back in. I don't know, but he'll work in this league. There's no question in my mind he will work in this league. And no, it's not a conspiracy.
Let me tell you about these conspiracy theories. The conspiracy theories in the NFL are the reason we have jobs.
Fact.
That is the reason we are here. The NFL and everything in the media blew up because we could talk about sports 24 hours, 7 days a week. Now, when you talk about something 24 hours, 7 days a week, is that going to always be factual information? No, it's going to be a lot of emotional and guys saying different things and people have an opinion, and there's a place in the market for it. That's just what the game is. Now, in terms of Kevin Stefanski, this is what the game is, guys. Like, look, just like if one of us was to say, you know what, we're leaving UCSS. You make an announcement, I'm leaving UCSS, right? Behind the scenes, or you leave in a different place, or you're going to another job, behind the scenes, everybody does maneuvering. You think people leave jobs and don't got no backup plan? You think people don't be talking to people? There's program directors. You could do radio. You could do television. Maybe you want to be a journalist. You want to do a podcast with somebody. There's 7, 8 different opportunities for you to go if you're moving from somewhere. And it's no different from coaches. Kevin Stefanski is a guy who's plugged in. He comes, and this is why in coaching, I tell you this. When I wanted to be a GA at one point in time, they said, G. Bush, GA ain't for you, right? You tell the truth too much. You talk too much. And you too loud and you emotional sometimes. you can't be emotional as a coach because there was a thing called a coaching fraternity, right? You say the good things, you say the right things, and if you're a good soldier and you're competent and you got a track record of some sort of success, he has 2 coaches of the years, guess what? He's going to get a job somewhere else. You just got to figure out what job it is. Now, here's the thing about having a second opportunity. I'm not sure that he gets a head coaching job immediately. However, could I see him being a coordinator immediately? Sure. I'm not Xing it out, the fact that he could be a coach somewhere. Somebody who it's always a change of the guards. Kevin Stefanski may take over for somebody who is emotional or is a guy that is more of a player's coach, and Kevin Stefanski is a more reserved analytical coach. And maybe that works with a certain quarterback. Maybe that works with a certain offense. Maybe his skill set fits up to that. And by the way, I always give people a little opportunity and a little grace. When you leave one job and you go to another one, you have an opportunity to look back on what you did wrong in one job and add to that and get better and say,
Bill Belichick.
Yeah, you know what I did wrong with it? I wish I would have did this. I wish I would have spoke up a little earlier about the quarterback situation. I wish I wouldn't have said that. I think I should have been more forthright with the media. And maybe he takes a year to learn that and come back and do it. Like I always said, you got an opportunity as a person. Everybody got an opportunity to make amends and to change their game. Your destiny is in your hands. Now, to see if Kevin Stefanski is going to do it, we don't know. But I wouldn't be surprised if he takes a year off and goes around and looks. I mean, the coaches do that all the time. So I do think he has a lot of people that like Kevin Stefanski in the industry. And if people like you, that's half the battle right there.
He's very well respected. He's got a lot of connections. I have no idea if he's going to get fired or not. I don't know.
And he gets a bit of a pass because it's the Browns.
Yeah. Oh, I'm going to get to that in a second. He gets a huge pass because it's the Browns. But if it does go this way, I think he should take a year off. I think that is so beneficial because when you are living this 365, and especially the poison he has ingested the last 2 years, I'm serious.
Your mental health, you need a break.
I'm serious.
He turned into Snow White.
I do think it would be interesting, though, Jason, to see him be an offensive coordinator on a team with a good quarterback. I would be curious to see that.
Where that's all he had to worry about, too.
Right.
Offense.
Just the offensive coordinator. I don't know if he'd do that.
I think he'll get another head coaching job. I've said that. But I do think he should make the decision of, you know what, I'm going to go be a dad for a year. I'm going to go home and be a dad. His kids are in that early teen years age. They could use dad around more. I'm sure they would love that. And I just remember talking to Mike Brown. Mike obviously had a job very early coaching LeBron. And then he got fired. He went to L.A. and he coached 1 year and he got fired coaching Kobe. And that was very damaging to his career that he was fired that quickly. And then he was going through divorce. And I'm not sharing anything that I haven't already written about. He talked about this on the record with me. And he said, I had to go home and my kids needed me. I had to go home and be dad when they were going through this divorce. And then he went to San Antonio for a year under Pop. And he was staying at, I think, Danny Ferry's house, sleeping on like kids' sheets in a twin bed.
No kidding.
And Pop called him, and there was a job that came open or something. I can't remember. And I was just thinking about this. I should have looked it up. Anyway, Pop called him after a year, and he said, Mike, Steve Kerr is going to call you and offer you the lead assistant job, and you are going to take it. Click. And Mike went, and that was it.
You don't argue with Pop.
And that was it. And so Mike went to Golden State and learned so much of the personal side, of the social side, working under Steve.
Tibbs did that too.
It has made Mike a complete, because I did a big profile on him when he was in Sacramento. He was a completely different coach. He learned so much from Steve, from taking a year off and just sort of working on himself, and then taking another year and sitting under Steve. And he came back a completely different coach. And now I wish him nothing. He got screwed in Sacramento, and I wish him nothing but success with the Knicks. But something like
I think he's going to find it.
But with Kevin, some time to just decompress. You think it sucks being a Browns fan these last 2 years?
Yeah, try being a coach.
Well, try being the head coach.
Yeah, you can't turn it off.
You can't. No, every day you got to wake up and you got to go do it again.
I feel worse for the fans than I do for Stefanski.
Oh, yeah, he makes a lot of money.
The money makes it
I hear what you're saying.
And he's had to suffer for 2 years. Fans have had to suffer their whole lives.
But when you're living it every single day, it is a different
And you
level.
can't escape. There's no escape. We can turn off the TV. We can turn off UCSS. We don't have to read the paper. There's a lot of things we can voluntarily do. When you're in it, you're in it.
You're in it.
And I mentioned, I'm glad you brought up the Brown thing, because I've mentioned this on the show before. Tibbs, when he was fired, did the same thing. Decided, you know what, I'm going to take a year. And he did a smart thing. He just reached out with his Rolodex, and he just went team to team.
Yeah.
Where he just said, I just opened a notebook, and I just started writing things down at practice, after practice, between after a game, during games. I just started seeing things that I couldn't see before because the vehicle was moving too fast. And he said it was eye-opening to him. Now, you went to New York, things didn't work out there. Who knows how it's going to go? But sometimes clarity can be a good thing, and I wouldn't be surprised at all if Stefanski said, if he were to be fired, I'm going to take a year. I'll have more to choose from next time around if he doesn't like the options this cycle, because I think that has a lot to do with it.
Absolutely.
If Pittsburgh comes open and they call him, well, that might be a call you have to take.
Yeah.
But if nothing is available that lines up with what he wants to do,
why would you go to Carolina or Tennessee?
No, exactly. Well, you're going to Cleveland. You're going to Cleveland all over again.
Yeah. So, just last thing, I know you want. There was so much more we could spend on this. Everyone always asks me, like, why? What possibly could you see? Why? What do teams see? Why would he be such a hot candidate? And the only thing I would say to that is, I'm telling, because I've said this before, like, when you take the emotion out of it, and everybody in Cleveland screams and hates him, and he's a terrible coach and terrible offense and terrible quarterbacks, da-da-da-da. I'm telling you how the rest of the league looks at it. The rest of the league looks at it and goes, okay, well, when they had a competent offense, when they had a top receiver in Amari Cooper, and they had a secondary option in David Njoku, he won 11 games with 5 different quarterbacks and went to the playoffs. So then what changed?
Yeah. Well,
they made him fire his offensive coordinator, and it all went to hell after that. So that's what the rest of the league is looking at. They're looking at Deshuan wrecked this entire thing, and the moves that they made to placate him, and some of this stuff, it just unraveled from there. Yeah. So that's how the rest of the league is looking
without
at
emotion too. They can look at it level-headed.
Yeah.
Well, but Stefanski getting a total pass for all of this is a joke.
Nobody's getting a total pass.
Yeah.
If you get fired, you're not getting a pass. Like, you win 6 games or 7 games
from other
in 2
people
years,
you are that,
The rest of the league looks at Cleveland as you are fighting a boxing match with one hand tied behind your back.
All right, well, we'll see how he does somewhere else.
Yeah, I think we'll get the chance to do that.
And by the way, Jay, nobody under the age of 30 gets the Rolodex reference, by the way.
Yeah, sorry, kids.
Scroll through your phone. Scroll through your phone, your contacts list.
I'm sure Tibbs was probably using an actual Rolodex.
Oh, yeah, he probably was.
Tibbs definitely is. Guys, we have one more topic in before we bring in Zac Jackson. It's brought to us by Prize Picks. This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. We make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss on any of the excitement of this sports season, whether you're following the NBA, NFL, or both. There's no better time to jump in on the action. If you haven't tried it yet, Prize Picks is the simplest way. Just pick more or less on 2 player stats, and if you get them right, you win. It takes less than 60 seconds. Download the Prize Picks app today and use promo code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONNFL for $50 in lineups after your first 5. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. All right, guys, ESPN dropped its top 10 list of rookies this season, and 2 Browns made the top 10. This is the top 10 in order. Carson Schlesinger was named the number 1 rookie according to ESPN. Ted McMillan, number 2. Emeka Egbuka, 3. Tyler Warren, 4. And Armand Membu, the right tackle for the Jets, number 5. 6 through 10 include Jackson Dart, Gray Zabel, Quinshawn Judkins, Colston Loveland, and Will Campbell. So 2 Browns in the top 10. Schlesinger at 1, Judkins at 8. No Browns made the receive votes, but just missed the cut list. Gee, is that enough? 2 Browns out of the top 10 rookies, in your opinion. And do you have any issue with Judkins being ranked 8th and Schlesinger being ranked 1st?
Nah, bro. I mean, listen, it's hard to have 10, 15 people. Like, in the top, listen, you're not going to get me. What, you want me to put all the Browns in there? I ain't putting all the Browns in the top 10. Listen, the fact that there's a linebacker that's number 1 is crazy to me. Like, you know how good you got to be a linebacker to be rated the number 1 dude? Like, Schlesinger is balling. Judkins, the offensive line and some of the things that is going on with the offense doesn't, really help him out a lot in terms of him being in the top 5. He started off really good, but now all you got to do is stack the line of scrimmage and you kind of take him out the game. But for me, Carson Schlesinger is playing like a Pro Bowler. Carson Schlesinger is going to be the defensive, if he finishes out the season, he'll be the defensive rookie of the year. And, we'll talk about it. There's been people that's talking about this being the best draft class of anybody in the league. You got 2 guys that's in the top 10. This may just save Andrew Berry's job. We just talked about Kevin Stefanski. We don't hear no articles about if Andrew Berry's getting picked up tomorrow. I don't know if that's a coincidence or I don't know if it's the fact that he might be safe. But when you take a look at these guys in this draft class, if you plan on going to get you another, general manager, the thing that's in the back of your mind is like, am I guaranteed for this general manager to do what he just did right here? Because if you look at this in a vacuum, you're like, oh, well, hold on, I'm not moving on from nobody. Especially if you got guys that we even talked about Fannin and Mason Graham, and Mason Graham has been coming on strong lately, playing very well. So look, I like the class, love the class, and even with this, I've always said it, ain't no problem with you saying you're wrong. When draft night, it was one of our first live shows. I went ballistic. I said, I can't believe you took Mason Graham.
Well, before the draft, you said they take Mason Graham, I quit.
I'm quitting. I'm leaving.
Quit.
And then my mom said, you done lost your mind. And I said, yeah, you're right. Then my wife called me and was like, shut up. You talk too much on TV. I said, okay, I got you. I'm not going to quit. Yeah, so, but it wasn't.
Women in our life always keep us straight.
Yeah, they'd be like, you're doing way too much. But it wasn't that move that got me. It was the Carson Schlesinger move. Because I'm like, who is this? And I watch all kind of film and tape. I say, who is this guy? You drafted a backer at the top of the second round. This might as well be a first-round pick. And then he turned out to be a monster.
Pick of the draft.
When you get new information, boys and girls, we are humans. You get new information, boo. Never be afraid to actually use that new information.
Now, to be fair, I'm not watching that much of the players on the other teams to know how good they are. Gray Zabel sounds like a porn star from the 70s. I mean, I don't know who the hell that guy is. Is he an
offensive guard for Seattle?
Gray's what?
Yeah, like what?
What's his name?
Gray Zabel, right? Is that his name?
He was a first-round pick of Seattle offensive guard.
Yeah, I mean, who knew?
That sound like the new heartthrob from the reboot of 90210.
It could be too. You're right.
Grays is coming.
I'm a little surprised Jackson Dart's in the top 10. I think if Judkins is up there, I know Genty's yards per carry isn't great either, but clearly he's being held back by their team.
They're both in the same
with
situation.
Judkins, so I don't know.
But the Browns,
it's fine.
Browns are thought about worse in the league, so they just like, yeah.
It's good. The Browns, we know, did great with their first 4 picks.
Yeah. I because we do these topics, you feel like, if I had to take the other side on a debate, how would I poke a hole in it? What would I change? The change that I would make, and for the most part, I think the list is fine. I like that that Schlesinger is number one. I don't know that there's been a more impactful
Probably
rookie.
not.
I don't know. I mean,
he's an overwhelming favorite to win
defensive. This guy could lead the league in tackles as a rookie.
Second-round pick.
The overwhelming favorite to win Defensive
round.
Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
But still,
that's
how many defensive guys went in the first round ahead of him?
Right. It has made far less impact.
Yeah.
And so if I had to make a change, though, the change I would make is Judkins would be replaced at 8 by another Brown. I think Harold Fannin has had a far greater impact on the Browns than Judkins has.
Jay, let me ask you this real quick.
Go ahead.
So what if you keep Judkins in? They had Colston Loveland in the top 10.
Yeah.
Look at their numbers side by side.
Right.
Oh, let me see.
Loveland was the first tight end taken in the draft. Fannin was a third-round pick.
Get him up out of here.
Judkins would try to replace Loveland.
Bye.
Either way, I mean,
No, he gotta go.
I'm not a big yards per carry guy. I'm more in Leroy's camp than Bull's camp. But I do think that it's alarmingly low to be the 8th best rookie. Same with Genty. I think we expected more of them. I think these guys are going to be much better backs in the long haul. Right now, they've got paper blocking for them, and they just can't get any holes. They're contacted behind the line of scrimmage on just about every carry, both guys.
Yeah.
In terms of the better tight end, I had said, I think it was the night before the draft, you had asked the question, who's your dream pick for the Browns? And I said, Harold Fannin.
Talk that BG stuff,
This
Jay.
guy is going to be a difference maker. You lead the NCAA in receptions and yards. I felt like he was a slam dunk. He was going to make a difference. The last thing I'll say about the class is, and we're going to talk about this again, I'll tease it again, at 12:30 on WKYC show, we're going to talk about should this draft class save the jobs of Barry and Stefanski. And there's a legitimate argument to be made for that. But I want to say this, because I've missed this point the last couple of weeks when we've been talking about what a great class this is. This is a great class. But in proper context, it needs to be pointed out that this class also failed to address the team's 2 biggest needs while drafting 2 running backs and 2 quarterbacks.
Actually, 3 biggest needs: quarterback, wide receiver, and offensive line.
You could throw that in there.
Yeah.
Right now I'm speaking more on the skill set because that's where the fans, I think, focus on the draft. But on paper, this draft is by far the best the team has had in more than a decade. It is by far the best draft for Andrew Barry. It is a great draft. He's got a lot of hits in this draft. But I also think it needs to be pointed out that the object of a draft is twofold. It's to find talent, but it's also to find talent where you need talent. And I know they needed it everywhere, but the most glaring need was wide receiver, offensive line, and quarterback. And this draft failed to address any of those needs.
All right, guys, we got Zac Jackson, so let's bring Zac in here to join the conversation. Our interview with Zac today is brought to us by A Home Builders Association. Give big this year with A Home for the Holidays raffle. You have a chance to win a beautiful new custom home or a cash prize this holiday season, and help make wishes come true for Make-A-Wish kids with critical illnesses. Raffle proceeds benefit Make-A-Wish OKI, which has granted over 22,000 wishes to children facing critical illnesses across Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana since 1983. This year's house is a custom-built ranch by Petros Homes, has 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, and a 3-car garage. It also includes some amazing features like a great room with vaulted ceilings, an unbelievable kitchen, a mudroom with open lockers. One lucky winner will be announced on December 24th, so get your $100 ticket now. Just visit ahomefortheholidays.org to buy your tickets. That's ahomefortheholidays.org. Terms and conditions apply.
If we win that, anybody at the show, I've got an idea for a live stream. We're going to call that the UCSS home. We're all going to move in, and we're going to have 75 cameras wired everywhere in every room of that
the real
house.
World.
And we're basically, it's going to be a UCSS real world live stream.
Are we bringing
television
your spouses or
extravaganza?
just us?
No. Spouses can visit on Saturdays for 2
only.
hours.
Bro.
But for the most part, it's just to see who does the dishes.
Yeah.
Who's the best chef? Who makes their bed? Who doesn't?
Nah.
What beefs arise inside the house?
Nah, here's how this gonna work. Like,
Streaming
here's how,
gold.
man, get behind this. Listen, no, you can't just have UCSS. You got to have the Cleveland media.
Well, you bring in everything.
I need Tony Rizzo and Bull in the same room.
Whoa.
I need Goldhammer and Lima chilling. I need Peter.
Does Zac Jackson come in?
Zac Jackson,
Yeah.
and Tony Grossi, all of them, the beat reporters. And this is from the creators of the Real World Road Rules Challenge. We'll listen, everybody in the house, and we get eliminated week by week based on content. You got to do a podcast. Who got the best podcast?
That's a
We
good
vote,
idea.
get up out of here.
Wow.
Who writes the best articles? And we have challenges where we put on teams. Great.
I like
Great
that
There's got to
idea.
be physical challenges, too.
Yes, physical
100%.
challenges.
Yeah.
Yes, it's going to be
I'm not up
crazy.
for that
Nothing
one.
involving the left hip for at least another month.
Jousting.
Can you imagine?
Just argue about Browns draft picks.
Oh,
All day.
All night.
24/7.
And we couldn't put
You in,
alcohol.
Zach? Is Zach in?
We can't put alcohol involved. That thing turns
Oh,
into.
wait a minute.
Let's see. Do you,
It's going to spice things up.
Hey, look, Jay. Can
It's
you
gonna
imagine?
spice things up.
Now we got a couple people that
Rizzo on a bender?
Oh, listen.
Nothing like it.
See,
I mean, I'm watching. I'm watching.
Hey, let's
my
get it
God.
together. Listen, somebody with sponsors, talk to me. This is the biggest thing moving. It ain't?
Huge.
It'd be
It
crazy.
would be fun.
On the Portage Lakes?
Yeah. I mean, what could go wrong?
Boats, all kind of
go
stuff. Somebody mess around and
It
drown.
could be like a second Love Boat situation. like
Yeah,
Dustin
man,
in
this is
Minnesota.
wild.
Zach, a lot to get to.
Yeah.
Thanks
there?
for dropping by. There are a lot of items, but I want to get your reaction to what I said about the draft class. On one hand, I think it hit a lot of nails, but it didn't address the team's biggest needs. Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong at all. And you were never going to hit anything. But that story with Mason Graham is okay. He's really good for a few years, but couldn't it have been any offensive player?
Yeah.
And like 5 years from now, is the CBS E team going to be in talking about? Well, Carson Schlesinger has 11 tackles again. He's had 11 losses every year of his career here in Cleveland. Yeah.
So
That's crazy.
This is a good point, though, because Bull and I were yelling at each other a couple weeks ago over Tyler Shuck. And I probably got emotional and said, Tyler Shuck sucks. And we didn't have enough evidence at the time. But so you would rather him take Tyler Shuck than who? Because now you have to lose Judkins or Schlesinger.
Okay, well,
and the quarterback's more important than either of those guys.
This is kind of the story of what they've done here. Is they came to the conclusion that Tyler Shuck was too old, he was shaky, he wasn't going to be the answer.
Injury prone.
He wasn't really going to be in their plans. And then they drafted Dylan Gabriel anyway with the pick that they had traded Amari Cooper for.
Right.
How
old is Dylan Gabriel, by the way?
He's 24.
So he's 2 years younger than Shuck. Shuck's 26.
Yeah,
so
Shuck's 26.
Like, that's a big deal.
Yeah, they were both at Oregon at very different
Right,
times in their careers.
But I guess one of the points is they were never going to fill all their holes in one draft. But I agree, when you take a defensive tackle at 5, as great as Mason has been, and I think you can make a case to put him on that top 10 list we just talked about.
He should be in the top 10 for what it's worth.
But should you have taken a left tackle there? Is that more?
Yeah, he went one pick earlier. I mean, that's the thing. It's how you spin it forward, Jason. I mean, this year in the draft, whoever's picking them and wherever they end up, 6-20, 3-22, guess what? They have to go offense.
Yeah.
They have to go
They
quarterback, tackle, wide receiver. There's no other
Yes.
option. So that's where they are. So that's how you have to look. There's a million different ways you can look at it.
Yeah.
And Quinshon Judkins is an excellent football player. Mason Graham and Carson Schlesinger are borderline Pro Bowlers already. Schlesinger's going to deservedly get that award. And Harold Fannin is already really good and ahead of anyone's schedule. Just learning the position.
So you got to give him a lot of credit for that.
For sure. And Harold Fannin and Judkins both in a real offense. Like, imagine what they would be.
Yeah.
You don't think the Kansas City Chiefs or the Patriots sit and say, if we had Fannin right now?
Oh, my God.
what
Or
would he be?
Judkins.
Or Judkins.
Chiefs have no
Either one.
explosiveness in
Yeah.
their backfield.
Let me ask you this question. Is there any chance in the world that, say for instance, Andrew Berry didn't have that much control over the last few drafts? Is there a chance that DePodesta had a lot of control over those drafts, or is it just...
I don't think control. I think input. They have a pattern, Garrett. They have traits they pursue. All these guys, except for Schlesinger, were younger guys, super athletic, off the charts guys. They've followed that blueprint. But Andrew Berry has been the architect of the drafts and the guy who signs off. So they have the biggest analytics staff in the league. They have a huge scouting staff. They go out and do their thing, but they've done it their way. This one was different. Some of it is just having the opportunity to pick in the first round.
That's not an endorsement of analytics, by the way.
No.
I mean, the fact that they have the biggest.
Yes,
like
Jay.
you would say, well, now look, they've won 3 Super Bowls in a row. They have the biggest analytics department.
keep
There's a
saying,
cause and effect.
all of this spending and all of this is supposed to result. It's supposed to be a positive.
Right.
But when
Right.
it's constantly this, people are like beating their heads against the wall,
Exactly.
right? But no, Andrew Berry's the one that signs off on the draft picks. DePodesta was involved, no doubt, and they have systems in place. They do things differently in the pre-draft process. And I think it's very fair to look and say, okay, you had 5 months to search for a quarterback, and you brought back Dylan Gabriel, and then, oh, by the way, we're going to take Shedeur the next day and undercut both of them. That was the result of this 5-month process of going to get anybody you wanted. They weren't at the pro days. They were on their own private tour, right? They were doing things their way, and it resulted in Dylan Gabriel.
What do you make of the argument that some have made, I'm not one of them, that, well, because Andrew Berry did a great job, even though, again, we've already acknowledged they didn't take the positions they need, but he did do a great job in this draft with the first 4 picks, and that should mean he keeps his job.
I would say, what else are you excited about on this team other than Myles Garrett and those 4 picks? And there are things, right?
Not many.
This is public school math. But to me, the top 6 offensive linemen do not have a contract for next year. And $46 million, roughly, is their cap hit just for next year for those guys without contracts.
Wow.
Oh,
That's
my.
insane. That's got to be higher than some teams.
And so their whole strategy has been the cap is going up. You can't spend
right.
ahead. It's basically a 0% loan.
Yeah. Well, it's
right?
about to catch up to them.
They've invested in yes, but it's about to catch up to them because none of those 6 are under contract. So bench Wyatt Teller, make him the scapegoat. It's strange, whatever. But play the rookie. They're not playing the rookie. They're playing
No.
Tevin Jenkins, who does not have a contract for next year.
So stunning. It really is stunning. And we talked a lot about the cap and is it mythical? Is it hard? Is it real?
It is not a myth.
It is not a myth.
It is bendable, but it is not a myth.
It's bendable, but what I think my takeaway from all this is you can run from the cap, but the cap will always catch you.
It won't. It'll only catch you if you're bad. It only catches. It's not going to catch the Eagles.
It
hasn't caught the Eagles.
No.
It hasn't caught the Rams.
No. If you bet on the wrong guy.
Yes,
that's what I'm saying.
That's what I was going to say.
If you screw it up, it'll catch up with you. If you don't, it won't.
Like, if you could show, hey, we had a couple of good years in there, made a deep run, made a championship game, or whatever, then maybe the juice is worth that squeeze. But in this case, we're coming off, in all likelihood, it's going to be maybe 7 wins combined over 2 seasons. It's not like we went to the promised land and now we got to pay the piper.
Right, I hear you.
We've walked through hot coals, and at the end of the hot coals, there's more hot coals.
Every fan base would want their team to do what the Browns have done in terms of being willing to spend, not in terms of anything else they did.
Yeah.
Right. But in
Spend
terms
wisely. I'm all for
Right.
spending.
Yes.
These
can't
guys are
throw it
not
out
renewable
willy-nilly.
resources.
No, exactly.
Right. Teller and Bitonio were never renewable resources. You tried to ride them here. Right, David Njoku had that magical month in Joe Flacco's magical month. Neither of the two would have happened without the other.
You're
What
right.
has David Njoku done since?
Nothing.
Yeah, not much.
Zilch.
His cap number next year, $23 million. His contract doesn't exist.
So there's 67 million, 69 million.
Yeah, and the first 6 guys across the line.
And they're not going to be here.
So what?
Well, include Deshaun Watson, too.
I want you
Yeah,
to
we're not even there yet.
More than that, you got over 120 million.
I want you. But the only thing I would say, the job title is not drafting manager. The job
Yes.
title is general manager.
Yeah, you're right.
Managing the cap sheet,
All of
managing
it.
the roster.
All of it.
It's not just one draft that gets
you're-
you off the hook. Go ahead.
So
You're right.
no, but so how does this? So now I'm just doing the math here. I'm looking around. So if you hire a new GM, technically they could just tear it all the way. Like this,
No, they can't. That's the thing, Garrett. This year, San Francisco and Seattle both consciously tried to get ahead and cut older players. One of whom being Malik Collins, and the Browns were right there to pounce. Right, but they can't because they're stuck in this money with these contracts. Your choice on Deshaun Watson next year is $80 million to be released or $40 million to be on the team.
Oh my God.
so
$40 million on the team just pushes the other.
And it pushes the other
Yes, it does.
40. Their 40 doesn't
just-
evaporate.
So a new
Spreading
GM,
out the pain.
a new GM comes in and says, "I want to. I don't want to be on the team. I'm 80. So that's 80. That's 80 gone. You
That's
have
80
no.
gone.
You have no linemen.
Right.
Right. Then your new coach or GM says, "I want my quarterback." So you go whatever you go get a quarter. So you meaning to tell me that if you do make a change in regimes, it theoretically could be worse than what it is now.
Oh, they're going to get a gap year of their own. Of
Yeah.
whoever comes
Yeah,
in.
yeah, that's what they're going to do. They're going to tear it down as far as possible. Not all the way down, not 2016 because it's just a different setup.
Right.
But
yes,
ultimately, if they get the right quarterback, that's the thing that will turn
I
it
think
around.
as of this moment, 13 of the 53 are rookies. So when we sit here next year on December 1st, 26 to 30 of the 53 will be first or second year players.
Oh yeah, that's
Now,
one win.
If you
That's
If they're the right ones,
if they're
you're
the
on
right
the way
ones,
up.
Yeah.
Not only now you can say, okay, now we're building something with solid building blocks that's not smoke and mirrors.
Right.
They're all good young players on manageable contracts. Extend the ones that you think are worthy of extensions. But that it would excite me as a fan. If you could duplicate this class with this next class.
Oh, sure.
Now you're like, well, God, you're about halfway there in terms of numbers.
But
If you
you-
get 25 guys and they're the right guys.
But you will be counting on unknown people that you bring in to hit on the next year's draft like you hit on this year.
And not only that, G, because we've talked about this on the show, it's not only the devil that we don't know, but we do know this, who's going to pick that devil. And we do know that person's track record at picking the right people to run the franchise. And that's why it always comes back to the same dead end to me. Is Jimmy still picking the next guy? Is J-Dub still involved in the hiring of the next guy? Well, then it's insane to expect different results.
Especially if you got two. You're saying that you were expecting Jimmy Haslam without his advisors. That means everybody he was DePodesta, Stefanski, and Barry are all gone. So now it's just him and D picking three new people. Do you, like, if you're sitting here, do you trust him to pick all three new people?
Zach, I
No.
said a couple weeks ago, he needs to go find the Bob Myers of the NFL.
Yeah.
Like, and Bob came from the agent side, totally reconstructed the Warriors. Now he's working for BlackRock exclusively. Like Jimmy Sexton would be that guy, I guess. He's never going to take that job.
Yeah.
But that's that to me, like, instead of Mike Holmgren, instead of Bill Belichick and all these guys, go find someone on the agent side. Go find someone who knows the entire league, who knows the good guys and the bad
They have
guys.
tried all of these things. Now, it wasn't all the Haslams,
But
right?
they
They didn't hire Mike Holmgren. They pushed him out the door.
No. But the Haslams brought in DePodesta, and they brought in a disgraced
Sure.
pastor from Chicago. That was their. I'm serious.
Yeah.
That was their leadership. A disgraced pastor from Chicago
Yeah.
who was running from sex allegations in his own church.
Dang, bro.
It's not uncommon.
That's right.
And
Allegedly.
and a baseball
Allegedly.
guy. And
Allegedly.
DePodesta.
Well, here's how you could do it, Garrett. There's two ways. You could hire the GM and let him hire the coach,
Which is what they should do.
or you could hire the coach and let him hire a personnel executive that he knows he's going to work with, because the start of it, you're going to be working with the current scouting staff anyway, because they have been preparing all year.
Yeah, you're not gonna
pick
blow those guys
in
out
the
now.
top 5, in the top 20, and again in the top 5 of the second round.
Yeah, right.
Speaking of which,
And you will blow them out
I like the
eventually.
ladder
but,
of your
yeah,
two
yeah.
options.
but you're not
I
going
like
to
the
fire
ladder.
all
well,
of
that's
them
what the
on
Niners
January
did.
5th.
Yes.
The Niners did what you're saying there,
Yeah.
right?
And it's pretty universal. Like, you can hire, scouting contracts run through May 1st, the week after the draft. But if you're making a high-profile hire, you can bring them in. And they're all scouting the same players anyway, right?
Sure.
You occasionally find a gem, or you occasionally have a wide variety of opinions on a player who has something in his past. He always, it works in other places. It doesn't work here.
Right.
But the information's there, right? There's only 30 guys right now that are going to be in the top 150 of this draft who NFL teams already don't know a ton about. They need to get to know them more. They need to get the injury information. But right now, good teams could draft on Saturday.
Sorry to cut you off. I want to talk about Fernando Mendoza because, from my perspective, if he goes out and plays a great game against Ohio State, that's maybe solidifies him at the top. Do football people look at it that way?
In a way, because what better challenge than the best defense in the country in this stage, right?
I mean, how many guys on that
Maybe
Ohio
one of the best
State
defenses ever.
Is Ohio State's defense, is every single player, starters on that defense going to eventually be in the NFL?
Yes.
So
it happened in 2002, and it's happening again.
Right.
And maybe 5 of them will be drafted in the top round of the next 2 drafts.
Okay.
Right?
So
there's no greater challenge.
The top 10 of this draft.
Also, Mendoza is more of a known
top
commodity.
5.
Ty Simpson, this is his first go-around. Mendoza started at Cal, right, for multiple years, graduated from Cal in 3 years. Nobody knew. Nobody in Cleveland, Ohio knew Mendoza was coming to Indiana. The NFL community knew this guy's going to be good. Has he been better? Sure. Have they seen him mostly beat up on bad teams? Yes. But they saw the drive against Penn State, and they're going to get to see that tomorrow, and then they're going to get to see him in the playoff too. So, yes, a huge stretch is in front of him.
Are you a believer?
I'm a mild believer. I don't know a ton about him, right? I've read the bio. I've asked people around. I've watched the last drive against Penn State. It's there. But
I want to see it against Ohio State. I've watched him a lot this year. I think that the tools are there. He's made some great plays. If he does it against this Ohio State defense, which I've been watching college football my whole life, I cannot remember a time where there was a more dominant, more star-laden defense in all of college football.
Coached by an NFL coach.
Coached by an NFL coach that knows how to draw up defenses. I think that this is the greatest. And there's a lot of reasons for that. I mean, NIL and portal and all of that, and now you can pay players.
Right.
But I think what we're looking at is the greatest college defense we've ever seen.
Yeah.
If he drops an egg, to me,
that's tough.
It's not going to drop him out. What it's going to tell me is this Ohio State defense does this to everybody. If he shines,
even
and
if they
Indiana
lose,
beats Ohio State, and it's because their offense, to me, rubber stamp him to number
even
one.
if they lose because their defense gave up too many points. If he plays
well,
great and they lose 27-24.
Here's the disaster for Mendoza. They score 12 points.
Right, they get smoked.
That would be, I think, in my eyes, that would be, I don't know that that's a disqualifier. He's still going to go high in the draft. He's thinking number one. And I think he can rubber stamp that with a 31-point performance. Even if it's in a loss and they lose 35-31, whatever. He doesn't play defense.
They have an entire football playoff still to come, too.
Right. They do.
But obviously this game carries a lot of weight.
This is huge.
Now, if the Browns win Sunday, they're out of the top 4 discussion.
They are, but they could package their first-round picks together.
Our coworker Dane Brugler did his mock draft, and that's what he predicted.
Yes.
Yeah.
What?
They
would fall out of the top 4?
Let's talk about your. Would you
trade up to
you
one?
like it? Do you think the Browns would like someone enough to not only package up? We just talked about the deficiencies. We just talked about no lineman, no receiver. You gonna package that plus this year's and something next year to get him?
It's a very slim chance to me, Garrett. If to get from 7 to 1, the price is going to be ridiculous.
Huge.
Ridiculous. Yeah. It is.
Yeah, Dane was suggesting just the late first and then a second in the next year. I think it's going to take more than that.
Can I throw out a Jimmy?
Good.
They run it back with these quarterbacks. They trade down this year, acquire another one for 27, and they take the quarterback.
Well, the way out, look, the direct way out.
I'm not kidding.
No.
I'm not kidding.
No, it's a possibility.
Hold on,
You've been saying for 6 months they're going to draft one this year.
Yes, and I still think they will, but
Jason,
look who we're dealing with.
Jason, let me tell you something. I just sat here and we watched them draft and do that same thing last year.
Yeah.
If he's quitting.
I can totally see Jimmy Haslam being like, you know what? We're gonna run everything back, all of it, all of it, and be like, and you know what?
I can see it too.
And
I don't think it's likely, but I can see it.
Listen, this is what I keep saying. The Browns build for plans that never come.
Right.
They always build for a future that never
One
arrives.
of these days, kids, we're going to have a playroom.
And you can't see Jimmy sitting in the room going, by God, look at that 27 quarterback class.
I'm telling you.
Julian saying, Arch, my boy Arch is in there.
Maybe Lenore Sellers, we don't know yet.
I mean, I'm telling you, I wouldn't bet on that being the outcome. I don't think it's completely out of the.
Let me ask you this, because I don't either. I think it's very possible. I think if they're going to be in the 7 range and the price is going to be too high, let me ask you guys this question: is it worth playing the Sayin sweepstakes? Do you guys think he's as good as I think he is?
The accuracy is.
I am blown away by his deep ball accuracy, guys, and I know he's got talent. A lot of quarterbacks in college have talent.
Not like him.
Joe Burrow did.
Oh, I thought you meant current quarterbacks.
No.
But okay, Joe Burrow did.
Here's what blows me away. Julian Sayin is doing something that has never been done in the history of college football.
Now,
he is completing 4 of every 5 passes, and I keep watching him with this eye. This isn't real. Where is where is he soft? Guys, he goes through his reads in lightning speed.
Shador had the best completion percentage last year in college.
I know he did, but I don't think
something.
anybody was talking about him as this guy. I'm just.
Here's the problem.
So I'm higher on Sayin than all of you guys.
Here's the problem. This dude got receivers that's better.
And it's hard to separate that. Yes,
he got receivers.
Every Ohio State quarterback.
He got receivers that's better than our receivers right now, today.
I've said they'd be our wide receiver 1 and 2.
It's a cheat code that makes it hard to evaluate.
It's hard to
how much is the quarterback, because how many times have we watched Ohio State, and I've put it in our chat. Julian Sayin makes a throw and it's he's down there somewhere throw, and Carnell takes it.
Yeah, but it's right where his hand is.
It's right where his hand is. He doesn't have a big stride.
I went in person. I sat in the end zone for the Penn State game, and I said,
his accuracy is jaw-dropping.
My brother and my dad, they swear all I'm saying. Like, listen, the shirts is already made. The Super Saiyan T-shirts is there.
I like it.
Just saying,
right?
Hey. Sayin, Mendoza, Sellers, Manning, all these names here, every podcast, every Twitter argument, right? The most direct way out of this is to find your own Brock Purdy, and that's Shador Sanders or not. That's what it is, or some guy this year.
Well, at the end of this year, you feel that we will know that the Browns will have enough data?
I don't. You would, in an ideal world, which the Browns have never lived in, you would know.
Yeah.
I think there's a huge 4 quarters ahead. I think there's a huge 4 weeks ahead.
Let me tell you. With that. You may disagree with this. You may agree. We've never had this discussion. If they sweep everybody out, okay, and they bring in a new general manager, one of the first things a lot of general managers would do is take Shador Sanders off this roster.
It's very possible.
Gone.
Just to eliminate the distraction.
Just to eliminate the noise.
Yeah, I would not be against that.
Well, the first two things is
but the tape might be screaming otherwise. Might be. It's not right now.
If the tape does over the next 4 weeks, that's a different conversation.
Then you change course. But where we are right now,
somebody might come in. This is crazy. You got 2 of them. I don't know if you could take both of them off the table. The chances of you taking either Shador Sanders or Deshaun Watson off the table is slim to none. Because Deshaun is great.
Right. There's multiple layers to every discussion of this, right, Garrett? There's one thing you do. You can trade Dylan Gabriel for 7 to Miami.
Right.
Sure.
But the other 2 come with complications.
Yeah.
You aren't
for
kidding.
sure, in multiple ways.
I don't think. I feel. Boy, nope. I'm gonna say it.
Say it.
Nope.
Say it.
Nope.
Come on.
I've been around this team too long to know better than to make declarative statements.
Okay.
Yeah, but with logic involved.
Yeah. As we sit here today, I don't believe the plan is for Deshaun Watson to take another snap this year. So if he's not going to take a snap this year, that tells me he's not in their plans next year. Now that could
because
change.
if he was in your plans for next year, you might want to kick the tires in a game this year.
But that's what I'm saying. If you are holding out any hope that Deshaun's going to be your quarterback next year, wouldn't you want to get a look at him this year?
I disagree with that to this extent, Jay. There's a problem. I totally agree that he's not in the plans this year, and I totally agree that we have to be careful. But if he plays next year, what's the point? His contract's up.
Right.
So he gives you 3 good games.
So
that makes 6 total in 5 years.
It's a bridge to nowhere.
The point is we're going back to the 27 conversation that we just had. That if they kick the can again, that you just play them out, you might as well get something for your money.
Jimmy did extend a 0-16.
So when this season ends, they have 135-ish in cap commitments to Watson when this season ends. So you can post June 1 him and take it 80 and 50-ish and be done with it after 27. Or you can keep him on the team next year for 39 or so. And then you push the remaining 90 into future years.
I think the 80-50
and it follows you. And then if you do that, he's on the team. He's on the roster.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I don't because I don't think he's in their plans to play. But again, we got a lot of football left.
Yeah.
You would
he may take a snap,
the Browns if Shador gets hurt,
They'll go back to Dylan Gabriel.
They'll go to Dylan.
Yeah, but I mean, you still have to fill a roster with quarterbacks.
Yeah, but that's why Bailey Zappe's here.
Yeah, but I'm just saying I think there is a scenario where the Browns might actually.
There is, but the window is very small.
I agree with that.
He's not even going to be activated until the week of the Buffalo game.
Yeah,
right. And at that point, the fact that he could have any practice at all, like real. I mean, he's out there in practice, but he's not in the real practice. He's in his practice.
Oh, so he's not allowed to practice with the team?
No, he's allowed, but he's not.
Where is he physically? Does anybody know?
You're not going to waste those snaps on him.
Yeah.
No, of course not. Does anybody know where he is?
No, nobody
physically?
knows. He's not, has not spoken and will not.
Why would we?
I want to drill down on something. You said something, and I just now thought about it. You said it's a very important 4 quarters. Now, I never really got to it. I'm thinking to myself, okay, he's playing, Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders. Is there a world where Jimmy Haslam and Andrew Berry is like, well, hold on. I get to see Shedeur Sanders versus Cam Ward. One win in the 5th round, one win in the 1st round. Both teams are trash. Both teams' offense are horrible. Both teams ain't going nowhere. Is that the best comparison you're going to get of, well, let's see if they got comparable talent?
In a way, but I think everybody's circumstances are different.
Yeah, they're not playing against one another.
Yeah. I think you're when I say the 4 quarters, I mean specifically because you have a chance to beat Tennessee.
And by the way, Cam Ward is playing against a very good defense. Shedeur Sanders is playing against a very bad defense.
And believe it or not, has way worse talent around him than Shedeur Sanders.
Let me give you another world that exists like 2%.
If that's possible.
You think on offense?
Yeah. Who's their best position player?
I would say you're probably right that the Browns do have, because they have some talent around, but I think they're both in similar situations, and that for the most part, they're glaring deficiencies all around them. But I do think Cam's level of difficulty Sunday is far greater than Shedeur.
Way higher.
Let me give you another world that exists over the next 60 hours. Mendoza lights up Ohio State. He's the guy.
Yeah.
Right? Titans, we stink. We've seen Cam. We're not sure. Number 1 pick's for sale. Cam Ward's for sale. Or number 1 pick's not for sale, but Cam Ward's for sale.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not touching that. Yeah, let someone else take that. Nope, I don't want it.
And
I say Tennessee saying we're going to go get the real guy.
Hey,
Right, right. Now we got our guy.
So you would.
I could see that.
So hold on, you wouldn't.
It only happened 6 years ago.
No, I wouldn't.
Arizona did this.
Guys,
6 years ago.
I said this going into the draft
Depends
last
on the
year.
price.
And a lot of people.
Depends on the price. You're going to get him at a
I
discount.
I was never enamored with Cam Ward. I had a conversation with Bernie. Bernie loves him, obviously. I get all that connection, but I just never saw it at Miami. I saw flashes, but I never saw wow, this guy's going to be a star at the NFL level.
Yeah.
I wouldn't bet on him again. I wouldn't now after I've seen him for a year.
Yeah,
Because Bull always says that the great quarterbacks are good enough to raise everybody up. He hasn't raised anybody up.
Well, I mean, I don't say that one. He's got no talent around.
I know he doesn't,
Zero.
but you've used as your argument constantly. I don't care if you're a good enough quarterback. You can raise
but not
your
in
team
your
up.
first
As a
year.
veteran.
I just don't think Cam. Listen, if it's Cam or this year's number 1, if I'm Tennessee, that's an easy one. Cam's hitting the curb, and I'm taking Mendoza. If I'm Cleveland and I'm faced with the prospect of no Mendoza, but you can get Cam, or you can play it out in another way, give me another avenue.
Well, it depends on who the regime is. If it's the same regime, they liked Cam a lot last year.
I would
and
take
the
Cam
price
Ward,
would
no
be
doubt.
the
If
price
it-
would be
if it was
significantly
Cam Ward,
discounted now.
we also
Well,
heard from
take
this
Cam
regime
Ward.
that Drew Aller was going to be, if they could take Drew, they would take Drew. What the hell were they watching?
Is there a world where the Browns fall in love with a second-tier quarterback with a big name?
Well, there's guys that are going to be in the second tier for their circumstances. Drew Aller, Nussmeier, right? Played the whole season
Kid
hurt.
at Miami.
Carson Beck.
Beck.
Yeah, he's stunk for a long time.
Yeah,
Feels like a Cleveland Brown to me.
Fuck him. Looks good in orange.
If you pull up and you got Carson Beck in the 3rd round, don't. Yeah, this is going to be very interesting. This is going to be a very interesting 4 or 5 weeks for the Cleveland Browns.
I think we could argue. I just want to make one more point on the Ward thing, and I don't think there's an answer here, but we think there's 18 to 22 guys that could be a decent NFL quarterback. That's all that exists, right?
Yeah.
And Cam Ward has the talent to be one of those.
Yes.
Can he be one of the 12 in a couple years in the right circumstance? Jay thinks no. I think
don't.
yes.
I think he could.
I do.
Yes.
But I think if you do, if you think that, and this happens, it's probably not going to happen. The Titans are going to trade down, draft defense, draft offensive line, and ride with Cam Ward. They think he has the makeup. He's
listen,
Has
we've all
the
been
first
wrong.
overall
I didn't think Bryce Young was salvageable. He has had a decent year.
It's coming to the Baker thing. Are you going to give that guy a second contract? Is
Bryce Young?
Yeah.
Right now? No.
Well, the decision's coming.
Yeah, I know it
same
is.
As,
so they're
going to
have to make the same decision that the Browns had to make.
I don't think any non-expansion team has ever put a quarterback in a worse situation than Cam Ward. Right. A first-round pick.
Right.
Well, if the Browns draft a first-round quarterback, that'll be the worst situation.
No, because it's bad.
Yeah.
At least the Browns have a defense.
Right. There's so many.
They got a
layers
running back.
No. The Browns have no linemen signed, and you're running Jerry Jeudy back.
The Titans line's worse than the Browns.
No, the Browns have nobody signed.
I hear you.
The Jets have
Nobody.
some quarterbacks in bad situations. The Saints recently.
The Titans have zero talent on offense.
Yeah,
Zero. There's not one good player on their offense.
It's hard to see it. It's hard to see it anywhere. They are deficient wherever you are.
I wouldn't.
So they're going to win
Cam
this
Ward.
game on special teams on
It might be 2-0.
Teams are good. You see my headline. There's a tease.
A Miles Garrett sack in the end zone. 2-0 Browns win.
Will he break the record, Zach, this week?
I mean, normal people you would say no, but I think he's got a real chance.
Dan Moore, he's killed Dan Moore.
He's killed Dan Moore. Now Dan Moore's seen him. I think their whole offensive game plan is going to be to just not let Miles get the record. They don't want to win. They want the number one pick. They want to get out of here with a healthy Cam Ward.
The coach has already been fired.
And Miles getting less than 3.5 sacks.
Who they taking? Who's the first pick? I mean, they got to take an offensive
They're going to trade down.
They're
going to sit there tomorrow night and root for Mendoza like they're IU.
Yeah, they are because they're sitting on currency.
Yep.
They want Mendoza and Simpson to be great the rest of the way.
And the kid from Oregon.
And the kid from Oregon,
with Simpson and Moore both, there's no guarantee they're coming out.
That's true.
Now,
but if they play great here,
it might be a little bit of a stare down because if you can be the number 2 pick in the draft, you come out and you figure it out.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Thanks, Zach.
Zach, awesome
stuff as always.
All right, guys.
Always great to have you in.
Zac Jackson, always a pleasure having Zach in here. We're going to get to our next topic after a quick word from Prize Picks. You and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement of this sports season. Whether you're following the NFL, NBA, or both, there's no better time to jump in on the action if you haven't tried it yet. Prize Picks is the simplest way to play. Just pick more or less in at least 2-player stats, and if you get them right, you win. It takes less than 60 seconds to make your lineup, and you can play anywhere Prize Picks operates. Download the Prize Picks app today and use promo code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 in lineups after you play your first 5. That's code LOCKEDONNFL for $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. All right, guys, we're going to run through this pretty quickly because I want to make sure we get a little Cavs talk in. But here are 5 stats that you need to know for Sunday's game against the Tennessee Titans. We talked about the special teams and the catastrophe it was last week against the 49ers. It's been bad in the past. Well, how bad really has it been this season? Well, according to DVOA, it's worse than you think. In total net punt value, they rank 32 out of 32. In kickoff rating, 28th out of 32. Punt returns, 28th out of 32. Kick returns, 27th out of 32. And the best DVO ranking in any special teams metric for the Cleveland Browns this season is in their field goal extra point, which is 23rd out of 32. So 23 is their highest ranking in the league in any special teams metric according to DVOA. If you don't know what DVOA is, I'll simplify it for you. This means you suck.
Yeah, Al, you know what? The only the only caveat I would give to Bubba Ventrone is the Browns have so many rookies that he doesn't have any experienced players. Like, he doesn't have, like, most teams that are good on special teams have 1 or 2 or even 3 guys that are experienced special teams players. And the Browns have had that in the past. They don't have anybody. Their special teams is all rookies, inexperienced guys. If he gets fired at the end, if they keep Stefanski and he gets fired, I understand it. But they might keep him because the talent on their special teams is pretty awful.
He kind of hinted at that, alluded to that this week. And,
Yeah.
and fine, but at the same time, I mean, cover your lane.
You got to coach him up.
This isn't.
Yeah.
This is special teams to me is different than offensive. Like, it's pretty self-explanatory of what the role is, and in terms of protecting your lanes on returns, and that's what has been killing them. If it's missed kicks, that's different. It's the basic fun. You mean to tell me these guys didn't play special teams in college? I'm sure they did.
Yeah, like you've been playing special teams your whole life, and special teams are made up mostly of young guys, undrafted guys, and guys that, you know what I'm saying, are not starters. So those guys know it. Malachi Corley, you know good and well that you are a special teams guy. Why do you not know the rules? Why would you field a kick? Why would you field a kick inside the 5-yard line?
Yeah.
And get your feet in bounds so that the team is what are you doing? Everyone knows and understands these rules. And when things like that happen, and I get it, people say all the time, well, it can't be so-and-so's fault. It can't be this person's fault. Listen, man, whose fault is it? Like, at some point, there's a level of accountability. I always go to this, and I always
Can't
say,
be the player's fault?
yeah, but you can't fire every player. If you're a boss and you have 12 people that you manage, and 8 of those 12 people are not doing what they need to do or hitting production, are they going to go and fire all 8 people? No, they're going to go find somebody to manage those 8 people and say, you better turn it around, because after a while, they have to look at you. You can't turn your roster over every year, but you can get the most out of the people you're getting. And the Browns get the least out of their special teams.
Well, this current economy there, I think they would fire the supervisor and all the employees.
Well,
No, they're just going to consolidate and use AI to do it.
right.
There it is.
Exactly.
And then you ain't got to worry about none of that.
Unfortunately, AI can't play special teams. This is hard because the guys that make up special teams are, and I hate to refer to them as this because they try hard, but they're the leftovers.
Fringe guys.
So imagine you've got the leftovers of a playoff team running a play against the leftovers of a 3-win team. Well, the leftovers of the 3-win team are probably going to get boat raced because they're leftovers on a really bad team.
However, the Titans have excellent special teams, and they're the worst team in the league.
Well, then credit the coach.
Yeah.
I mean, because to Jay's point, a lot of this is technique.
Yeah.
A lot of it is. I watched the Cowboys game last night. Man, what a weapon Aubrey is, by the way. This dude's hitting 63, 57 yards. He never misses. He just goes out there.
6 straight 60-yard field goals.
It's unbelievable. We've never seen anything like him.
Yeah, he's great.
Nuts.
And it really does go to show you, how much inroads you can make with a great kicker. But I watch teams. When I watch us return a punt and a kick, I know what's going to happen. Punts we're getting 0.
Yeah.
Kickoffs we're getting to the 20 and no more.
Unless it's the Raiders.
Yes, then because their leftovers are worse than our leftovers.
This is a fireable offense on its own. This is a fireable offense. The Cleveland Browns for multiple years had Deontay Foreman returning kicks.
I do remember.
He's a fullback, bro. This is the things that the Browns
Is
get.
that on Stefanski or Barry? Barry for not having it?
No. Listen, Deontay Foreman, you could have him on your roster as a goal line back, but you under no circumstances put him back to return kicks. It's
That's
laughable.
on the special teams coach, Mike. Who else would it be on?
It'd be on Barry for not having a better return option.
Well, to Barry's credit, he tried to bring in some special teams guys, and they tore out their ACL on the first
one
play.
guy who was they
Jaheim Grant.
2 years in a
Jaheim
row
Grant.
this happened.
Yeah.
And then Naheem Hines.
And then before that, it
then
was
Carter.
Carter, and then it was the other dude who had the injury, the speed guy.
Jakeem Grant.
No, he had
Travis
a
Benjamin?
concussion. He had a concussion.
Marquise Goodwin.
Yep, Goodwin.
Marquise Goodwin.
He brought in 4, they wouldn't know, but you can't have Deontay
Mike,
Foreman
do you have the
back there.
rankings for the Titans special teams?
No, I do not, but I know they have the #1 punt return unit in football. All right, next 2 stats go hand in hand, so I'm going to do these back to back. Sometimes the numbers don't add up. Against San Francisco, the Browns had a 50% offensive play success rate. That's the 3rd highest mark in any game for the Browns since the start of last season, yet they still managed to score a season-low 8 points despite a 50% offensive play success rate. And part of the reason they were so successful on a play-to-play basis was the offensive line, which had a 94.7 pass block win rate against the 49ers. That was the highest mark of the season. For that unit, they also had a 72.9 run block win rate, which was their 4th best mark of the season. So the best offensive line protection they've got led to the most offensive success
Who
per
gave us
play
those
rate.
grades?
This is from ESPN's pass
Which
block win rate.
what I
and
don't
success
understand
rate.
is, didn't Shador have a terrible grade?
Yes.
So how does the quarterback have a terrible grade, but the offense did well?
Well, it's overall offensive success. They ran the ball very well.
Very well.
Right, but if the quarterback has the worst grade, that means the passing wasn't good.
He had longest time to throw of any quarterback, right?
That is correct.
Right.
2.7 seconds.
So that goes to the offensive line credit.
Well,
Niners weren't blitzing, and their defensive tackles weren't very good, and they've had a ton of injuries on defense. So all that plays into it.
So you think about it like this. Okay, if they're not blitzing and they're not doing a lot of that stuff, and they just sitting back into coverage, like if you're sitting in coverage and you're only completing passes that's 4 or 5 yards, I mean you're not going to have success.
Yeah.
By the way, a lot of that success that they're talking about went out the game when Jack Conklin left. They was running the ball very well when Conklin
He's not
was
playing
in.
this week.
Yeah, they was running the ball very well. They were running outside zone. They seemed to have some time. And then he got hurt. And then they brought in Livingston, and it was a wrap.
Well, no Teller and no
Conklin
this week. And Dylan Sampson might not play either. He's dealing with an injury, too.
A little shorthanded. Next two stats also go together, so we'll wrap it up with this. But we've talked about the chase for Myles Garrett's sack record. He needs 4 to set the single-season record. It's coincidence that Tennessee's given up a league-high 48 sacks this season. They've played 12 games. That equals exactly 4 sacks per game. Cam Ward has not been good when pressured this season. He's a 26.2 pressure-to-sack rate. That is tied with Geno Smith for the highest in the league, so more than 1 out of every 4 times he is pressured, he ends up on the ground, which means record watch is officially on. And last but not least, these games still matter, guys. It just depends on who you're looking for. 7 teams had a potential change, according to ESPN's playoff predictor, in their ability to make or miss the playoffs by 25%, depending on the outcome of games this week. Those teams were Detroit, Dallas, Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, Houston, and Kansas City. Browns obviously not in that group. They're out of playoff contention. However, if they lose this game...
They're not technically out of playoff contention.
They're both stop it. They're not making the playoffs.
You said they're out.
They're not
mathematically eliminated.
They're realistically eliminated.
Yes, I agree with that.
Unless you're Tyvis Powell, they're out of the playoff race. If they lose this game, their odds to get the number 1 pick in the draft this upcoming season jump up to 14%.
Wow.
If they win, their chances to get the number 1 pick drop to less than 1%.
Yeah, if they win, they're not getting the 1.
Exactly. If they lose, it is still in play.
I don't think they're
If
getting
they
the 1
win,
even if
they
they
are
lose
out.
this game.
I don't think so either.
It's a wrap.
Although, if they don't win this game, they probably will lose out.
Yeah.
But
what
that's-
does Tennessee have left? I don't know what Tennessee is.
Tennessee's
left
playing, I think they're playing the Saints. So that's possible if they won this game that they could win.
Yeah,
that game.
there's no way to.
But I think the
Will there even be TV coverage of that Titans Saints game?
I don't know.
You can ask why there would be TV coverage
Stream
of
it
Sunday's
online.
game.
Well, at least you got Shador and Miles Garrett.
Tennessee ends with the
Foxcast.
Browns, the Niners, the Chiefs, the Saints, and the Jaguars.
Oh, it's a wrap.
Yeah. Well, the Saints is a possibility.
And the
for
Browns
them.
is winning this game by a boatload. Like the Browns about to smoke these dudes.
You have them winning easily, huh?
Yeah, like this is easy money.
I agree with you.
Yeah,
We'll give our official picks at the end
Yeah,
of
this
the
easy
KYC
money,
show.
man.
About 12:55, you'll see that on Channel 3 here in Cleveland.
Miles Garrett might have 16 sacks. It's gonna be picks. It's gonna be all kind of stuff.
16
like for real,
sacks.
like this is a wrap. Like I got like Cats is gonna be. People gonna be getting juicy against these Titans, bro. This is a
Yeah,
wrap.
I don't see how the Titans
He's
do
like-
anything at all.
He's like the odds you could bet, prop bets, obviously, right?
Yeah.
And I don't remember the exact number, but like usually a prop bet of a guy getting a sack is if it's a
About
really
even.
good player, he might
About
be
even.
minus. What's that, Mike?
It's about even, give or take.
Right, even. Maybe if it's a really good player, you're minus 110, 120. I think Myles Garrett to get 1 sack in this game is like minus 400.
Oh, my God.
Something crazy.
Hey, you know what's crazy, McNuggets? I don't even want to say it. This is wild work. I got Jerry Jeudy with over 100 yards.
Me too, G.
Dang.
You weren't here for No Fence Riders yesterday, but
That's what's
I am
interesting.
on that.
That's big.
What people don't know,
100.
what people don't know that weren't here early is that Mike and G were getting stoned before the show.
I thought I smelled something.
Nah, that was that cigar
we
cologne.
will talk about the preview and our picks for that game coming up in the WKYC show. We do have to spend a few minutes real quick, guys, talking about another team in Cleveland. Quick reminder, though, if you don't already follow UCSS on social media, give us a follow. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Those are the channels on your screen. And continue to tag us in your Spotify Wrapped and/or YouTube Wrapped.
Oh, the kids love us on TikTok.
Mike, would you like me to break down the Red Sox Pirates trade from yesterday?
No, we're good on that. Thank you. But if you want to hear that,
It's in the
Bull-
fifth hour of the show.
Bull will short a video and we'll put it on our Instagram page. So if you do care about Bull's take on the Red Sox Pirates trade that I don't even think happened yesterday, we'll put that on Instagram.
No, there was a trade.
It was a trade.
For you.
There was a trade. Yeah, go ahead.
Bull's got the ins and the outs of it,
Yeah,
too.
there
It
you go.
does. All right, 5 minutes on the Cavs real quick before we head over to Super Chats and then to KYC. But Donovan Mitchell said after the loss on Wednesday to the Blazers that it's December 4th, or it was December 4th. If we're still having these discussions at the end of January and February, it is time to seriously panic. However, the Cavs have just not been good this season. We can call a spade a spade. They have not lived up to expectations. Injuries play a part in that, but they simply have not been nearly good enough. So, Jason, I wanted to ask you, when is it the right time to actually start worrying about this Cavaliers team? And is Donovan right that it's still early December, it is too early to actually fully take out the panic button?
Well, I can't go against Donovan. If Donovan laid out the dates, then I'm not going to give different dates. We talked about this on a podcast this week. generally, when you get to where the Cavs are, you are who you are. When you're in that 20 to 25 game range, every team will tell you you don't really want to make assumptions on what you have and what you need and who you are until you get to that 20
Like the
game
quarter
mark.
pole, right?
Yeah, and they're there. So that would be cause for concern. Now, the only real exception to that would be injuries, which obviously they have had and they've dealt with Darius being in and out and with Max not making his debut yet. But, yeah, I mean, this team just looks disjointed. It just looks off. Evan looks confused to me. Like, I don't know how else to say it, that they've tried to put him in different roles. We've talked about it at length.
But he's playing well. He's actually playing well.
He had a great game the other night. I don't think they've asked. He's a max player.
No, I get it.
Jason, as Mike points out all the time, Indiana was under 500 in January.
And they had a lot
year.
of injuries, too,
Yeah.
at the start of the year, which is why I'm saying, like, injuries is the one thing where you may have to hit pause to see, okay, who are we really? But that doesn't change the fact that Evan has been just sort of, I don't know however way to say it other than confused. I think sometimes he's not sure what they want out of him.
Yeah.
And that was a big piece of, for me, all year long was, hey, if they're going to win at a high level, Evan's got to get them there. Because right now, the way Donovan's playing, I just don't think it's sustainable from now until June. So you got to figure something else out, and maybe that's Darius when he's fully healthy. And
Well, Mike says that's never going to happen.
Well,
That's it. I think
told
that's
you
the
at
issue.
Confidence Bowl.
What are you talking about? We said that on the air.
Well,
No, I said that before the show, and I said, please don't bring it up yet because
shoot.
I want another week to figure out if it's real
Nah,
or not. So
well,
thanks a lot for that.
Hey,
Paul.
listen,
sorry.
buddy.
Hey, let me put.
I thought that you said
that's
that on
not
the air. I
that.
apologize.
Put that on my. Put that on my
that's
CD.
already been
Bus
out
tire
there.
tracks.
That's already out there, Mike. Sorry.
That it may be something he's got to deal with.
Tire
like-
tracks.
Hey,
Bulls bus.
Hey, listen, don't worry about it. Just put that on me. I'll do
Bad
it.
job out of me.
Hey, I'll do the heavy lifting on this one. Mikey don't got to say it. That's been evident. Darius Garland and his body type is not conducive to ground and pound and all kind of other physical nature that they're going to need. See, the Cleveland Cavaliers, they got an identity problem. And it's not the fact that, we shoot threes or getting Mobley unlocked. They got this thing where they feel like they are in a situation where they can play cute. Nah, you're not a cute team. Like, you're not the Warriors of a couple of years ago where you could play cute and shoot a bunch of threes and that's just your finesse game. They got three players that are their best players, two of them max players, Darius Garland and Evan Mobley. And Jared Allen is getting a boatload of money too. They have to play hard. Like, they got to play to a point where Darius Garland is fighting over screens. He's physical. He's a gnat. Defensively, he's a bulldog. That ain't happening. Evan Mobley. They're like, okay, we're going to make you, your best asset is your offensive game. No. Evan Mobley still has to play and be nasty. He has to be physical. He has to block shots. He has to run the floor. I'm not seeing enough of that. And the thing that disappoints me most with the Cavs is they're letting too many people just get to the rim. They just to the rim like, oh, yeah. And when Jalen Tyson comes out and say, hey, we can't have just the bench dudes. Right now it's 3 dudes that be playing hard consistently. Tomlin, which is crazy, and I'm not talking about Mike Tomlin. It's Nate. Like, listen, this is Tomlin. You got Jalen Tyson, and you got Donovan Mitchell. Those are the guys that are playing hard. Like, every single game, every single possession counts. And for the Cavs, I don't know if it's this, but when you got JB, the one thing that you can say about JB was JB gonna have you playing defense, dog. He gonna make sure that you give that level of effort defensively. The Cavs are not good enough offensively, not to hustle, not to rebound, not to defend. And at this point, they're a middling team, man. They are middling. Like, would you be surprised if they got bounced the first round playing like this?
Not the way they're playing right now, but we got a long way to go before we get to. I'm just wondering, is JB still a really bad coach? Does he still suck?
Hey, man, listen.
That's all I heard 2 years ago was JB sucks.
They did the right thing. They got rid of JB because he had reached the ceiling with this unit. He had reached the ceiling, and they had plateau offensively.
I think politics played into locker room politics.
Have the Pistons lost since the first week of the season?
Pistons have been phenomenal.
They've been excellent.
Yeah.
But for all of that,
lost last
last
night.
year we got swept up in what the Cavs were doing, and we were wrong.
Right.
So I refuse to get swept up in what they're doing this year.
Right. I don't.
For the fear of being wrong.
Right.
I think that is it good? Of course
They
not.
have to play better than they're playing now.
They absolutely
question.
have to play better. But last year, the Pacers, they didn't look like a good team at New Year's. They didn't.
Correct.
we have beaten mid to really bad teams. Our record this year against good teams is horrible.
That's the problem.
Horrible.
And it ain't even. And the games ain't even close.
And Jay, I do think you're
They're 4
right.
and 9 against teams above 500.
And that is untop.
and I
I mean,
think
that's a first round. That's a first round bounce in the playoffs.
And two
if
of
I've
those
ever
were the
seen it.
Pistons the first week of the year, right?
And they only played the Pistons once.
Oh, once.
One.
Okay.
But to your point, Jay, I watch and I do feel like someone put a bag over Mobley's head, and they told him to go out and play hoops. I think, and the reason I said, are they asking too much of him? I agree, he's a max player, and there is this theory, this operating theory, that they're not going to win a championship with Don as their best player. It's got to be Mobley's got to take that step. I think he made a nice step last year, and we all saw it. We all agreed. I think they put the same emphasis on getting a similar jump this year, and what they've done is they've turned the treadmill speed up to 12, and he's falling off the back of it. He can't run that fast. Not to say that he won't down the road. He's been a slower to progress player. Would you guys agree with that? Like, it's not like he made this meteoric leap and here he is.
Right.
He was good when he came in. He's made nice
Incrementally
steps.
better, yeah.
Incrementally
He made
better.
a big leap last year.
Last year was huge, and I think the Cavs got greedy and said, we need that again.
Yeah.
We need you to go from 2 years ago you went from 72 to 84. This year you got to go from 84 to 96. And I think it's overwhelming the young man. I feel like he can't run at that speed. So I'm not saying pull back. I'm saying go back to what made him such a great player last year. We need more of that, and we're just going to add little things in as the season goes,
guys,
and try to grow slowly.
Here is the easy answer to what we're discussing. Evan Mobley, Darius Garland, Hunter, pick swaps every draft between now and 2030. The Cavs 2031 first-round pick, the Cavs 23 first-round pick, and the Cavs 35 first-round pick.
I know what you're doing.
To the Bucks for Giannis and Kyle Kuzma. Let's go!
It's not realistic. It's not even close to reality.
I know that, but I want it to happen anyway.
Isn't Giannis
because they have
going
no
to New
chance
York?
to win as is.
Isn't that when a player makes an emphatic statement like that?
The Cavs are not realistic because they want draft picks.
Giannis to New York has been the talk in the league for 2 years.
I know, but has
Legit
he
2
ever
years.
come out this strongly and said, make this happen?
I would watch Atlanta and Miami.
Really?
And
Oh, you
San
don't think the
Antonio.
Knicks?
I would watch Atlanta and Miami.
Okay.
He goes to the Knicks,
NBA
he's
usually
done,
when
isn't
players make strong declarations like that.
and
They
He
usually
doesn't have a no trade clause. He's not controlling this.
No, I know, but we've seen in the past players have power, man. They get stuff done.
Yeah.
But he's less likely to do something like that probably than other guys,
I
right?
don't know. I always thought that, but you know what?
Let it get too bad.
Jimmy Haslam is signing his checks now.
He could very well wind up on New York. He could. But I'm just saying I think that's far from a done deal. But there's
I
not
don't
a
think
ton
it's a
of
done deal, but
there's not a ton of teams that have the assets.
I wonder
to
what
go
the
get him.
poly market odds are on him.
I don't
him
know.
going.
That's a good question.
If he ends up on the Knicks, there's nobody in the East that can beat them. Fair?
I don't see anybody beating them with him. No, I don't. You know what? They might give Oklahoma
what are they
City a hell of a
giving? What are
run.
they giving up?
That's what I'm saying.
They have to give up Cat and OG.
Oh, that's light.
Okay, go
That's
ahead.
super
Take 'em,
light.
both of them.
That's
Plus
super light.
Some stuff.
They would be
but that'd
the
foundation.
heavy favorites.
Yeah, it's
for
a
sure.
wrap.
I would think.
But
so.
I wouldn't say
you would
nobody
make
could
my
beat
trade though, wouldn't you?
Of
Even
course.
though it's not realistic.
What was your ridiculousness?
Hunter?
I'm admitting Hunter, Darius, Evan, pick swaps, 31 and 33 first round picks for
That's
Giannis
cooked.
and Kuzma.
That's cooked.
Oh, but what he left out was we also got to take Haslam. He's
I don't know. That's the bridge too far.
I do that.
You do it, right?
Right? Yeah. And Haslam.
All right, guys, we got
I tried telling my
Super
one
Chats.
Buck friend. I have one. I tried telling him 2 years ago. I go,
You're screwed.
uh-oh, you guys are about to
all
dismantle
over.
real quick.
We got Super Chats to wrap up this portion of the show. Then we'll head over to WKYC. Jalen Reeves says, I've watched 450 UCSS videos this year, top 3%. Thanks for
Hey.
getting me through work every
Nice
single
job.
day.
Thank
Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Bill Rodewalt says, it should tell you something that Vrabel saw value in spending a year with Stefanski. He's respected. Whether we fire him or not is another question.
It's true.
Brody's bottom line says, Jason, it's the Browns' fault. Kevin stinks as a head coach. Got it. Jeffrey Anderson says, I hope Stefanski does not get fired. James Mace says, Bull, it is snowing in Omaha, Nebraska right now. Just a heads up.
I don't get the reference.
You
We
got to
had
be
a
here
whole
yesterday.
weather debate yesterday.
Oh, I'm sorry. I missed it.
Marjan Jamie says, if the Browns passed on Carson, people would crucify them for not taking him, knowing they needed a linebacker. Both AB and Stefanski should come back for sure. Also, what wide
Nobody
receiver
would
would have
crucify
helped
him.
the Browns more?
He was a shock at that
What?
spot.
Nobody even knew who he
Nobody
was.
knew
What are
who
you
he
talking about?
was.
They would have
He
crucified
didn't even
him.
start. At the beginning of his senior year at
didn't
UCLA,
start.
came off the bench.
It was a great pick by them.
It was, they
Great pick.
nailed that.
Yes,
But
but
had-
to
but had
say
they-
they would have been.
Yeah, no one's going to crucify them because it's not like he was sitting there and,
by the
everybody had
way,
him circled.
And for all the debate we had about Shuck, if Shuck turns out to be a great quarterback, then they missed, and they should have taken Shuck over
100%.
Schlesinger.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Next, one Cleveland kid said, hey, guys, if we give AB credit for the draft, why doesn't Kevin get credit for the guys and their development of the young players? Love the show.
Yeah.
Well, I could.
fair.
That's fair.
Yeah. That's
Like,
fair.
I
If we're
can't-
going to kill him for not
Yeah, that's fair.
developing Dylan and Shador,
Hey,
then he gets credit for developing the other guys.
By the way, to the point you just made before, Myles Garrett may be the greatest defensive player in the history of football. They still blew the draft. They should have drafted Patrick Mahomes,
Yeah.
And then that's a mouthful.
which is crazy.
But I'm not going to disagree with
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Brad Schrack says, you never pass on a potential franchise quarterback unless you have one. Whatever Sanders does over the next 5 weeks, Browns will go into the offseason without an established quarterback. If they believe there is one in the 26th draft, you have to get him.
I won't disagree with
Should Sanders would have to play way better than is reasonable to ask for them to change their minds.
Our Mac Dog says, it's confusing. Sounds like people will give Stefanski a pass for the Browns' horrible record, but blame Andrew for the losses and offense's execution.
No, I would say, look, if I was a betting man, I would say the chances are Andrew Berry has a higher chances of being with the Cleveland Browns right now than Kevin Stefanski.
I think if you bring Andrew Berry back, and I'm in favor of letting them both go, but I think if you bring Andrew Berry back, you bring Kevin Stefanski back. To put it all on Kevin Stefanski, like blame him and not the GM, I think you fire them both or you keep them both.
We might as well tease this down to the 12:30 show on WKYC, but Albert Breer had some comments yesterday about what he thinks about either or both or neither coming back for next year. So that will be a point of hot discussion in our 12:30 WKYC show.
3 more. Let me read through them real quick. Digital Mafia says, get Ohio State receiver Carnell Tate and South Carolina receiver Nick Harbor. Move Judy to the slot. Joey BOD says, why not give Shador 2026 and draft a quarterback in 27 if needed? And James May says, that's our problem as Browns fans. We always look at the new shiny quarterback. If we get Julian or Mendoza, we'll eventually turn on them for a new quarterback in 2030.
He's not wrong.
That's what we do.
Yeah, well, I will
not
say
fair.
I will say this: if you do draft a quarterback next year and you have to package them picks, it's going to be tough sledding for old boy. It's going to be tough sledding in here.
I really believe that we're going to have a lot of answers as to what's going to happen in the draft after tomorrow night. If Mendoza plays well against that defense, to me, that would be the biggest endorsement of why he needs to go number one, because he's had moments this year, but their schedule has not been difficult.
We'll see
it's
you
going
on
to get
KYC
real tough
in 3
Saturday,
minutes.
tomorrow night.
Peace.